Here's everything you need to know about Rode's latest Go mic, the Wireless Pro. Okay, so for those of you that just want the quick gist of this, I think this mic is 100% better than the Rode 2, and if you can afford it and are looking for an upgrade from the Rode 2, absolutely get the Wireless Pro. Now, on to the rest of the video. For starters, they've swapped out all the white print on the transmitter and the receiver with a very dark grey. So this means that when you have the mic, it's a lot more subtle and it doesn't stand out as much when you say have it just traditionally mounted on your shirt like so. Now some people do prefer the white print on their transmitter and receivers as it makes it a bit easier to read in the dark, but it's a very sort of simple looking device, so it's not that hard to really navigate, so I don't consider the white print a huge loss. I welcome the dark grey, I welcome the subtlety, I welcome the discretion of the new design. If you look at the mic port on your device, you'll notice something different. On the Wireless Pro, you have a TRS locking system on the 35mm port. This is good as you can now sort of lock your mic onto the receiver and make sure it's not accidentally yanked out. Although do keep in mind, you do need to have a microphone that has its own TRS locking system in order to work with this device. Something that I absolutely love about the Wireless Pro, and it's probably not a big thing for a lot of people, but for me who use the Wireless Go 2 mics a lot, this makes a huge difference. And this is simply the fact that the devices turn on that much quicker. In comparison to the Wireless Go 2, the Wireless Pro turns on a second quicker than the previous model. So it's a very tiny fin and it's literally only a second or half a second shaved off, but I absolutely love that I can now turn these fins off that much quicker. Speaking of power, these mics only take 2.5 hours to fully recharge and can be used for up to 7 hours tops. So in terms of noise quality, if you're curious, well, I'm actually wearing the mic right now, so this is sort of what you're hearing from the mic quality. I, of course, am in a room with a bit of a high ceiling, so you are picking up a bit of reverb. But in terms of mic quality, more specifically, this has a 32-bit depth quality with a sample rate of 48 kilohertz. So you're getting the, well, absolute best noise quality you can get on these kinds of mics. So the Wireless Pro records in a 32-bit float. Now the significance of this is very good, because basically you have a much broader range of recording. So if your subject screams or yells or just suddenly gets incredibly louder, that range is actually captured and you don't have any risk of the audio being horribly clipped like you would with most mics. So the beauty of the 32-bit float is you actually capture a very wide range of audio and significantly minimize any risk of clipping in your audio. Realistically, if you are worried about clipping audio when it comes to any of your microphones, always aim for 32-bit float. The microphone on the transmitter and the lapel are both omnidirectional microphones, so you are picking up any audio around the microphone itself, so you don't necessarily have to have the microphone pointed directly at the mouth in order to pick up your audio. Okay, so now I'm outside. I've got the lapel on with the little windshield and it's a little windy. I'm just currently hanging around some trees here to see if that's sort of interfering with the noise here. Strong gust is sort of passing through behind me. The leaves are starting to shake, so this is sort of what you're hearing right now, and hopefully my voice is fairly clear and the background's a bit reduced, but yeah. All right, so we've got a few bit of airplanes, helicopters, whatever, sort of flying over us now. And this is somewhat saying the wind's hitting at the same time, so we're getting a bit of everything sort of going on here. Alright, so we've got a few bit of airplanes, helicopters, whatever, sort of flying over us now. And this is somewhat saying the wind's hitting at the same time, so we're getting a bit of everything sort of going on here. Not far off from the microphone port, you will find a new button, which is actually the record button. Pressing this will, well, start recording on your device, which means you don't necessarily have to have this kit plugged into a camera or phone or any other device in order to start recording. You can simply record your audio on this microphone itself. But if this mic is recording separate from any cameras pointed at it, you do have timecode capability. This basically means that within all the audio, you do have a set time code that you can use to sync up with your cameras and sync up your audio that much quicker. If you want to play around with the time code capabilities of your Wireless Pro, you simply connect the receiver up to your phone and open up the Rode Central app. From here, you can make the necessary adjustments. Another benefit of the Rode Central app is that you can also utilize a safety track on your audio. So you can set up your audio to record a safety track, which means basically a separate track that records whatever audio you're already recording, but 10 dBs lower, so a little bit quieter. Now, as these devices can record on their own, you do of course have internal storage. And on the receiver, you have up to 32 gigabytes of internal storage, which will give you up to 40 hours of audio recording. Now, of course, with the Wireless Pro being compatible with the Rode Central app, this does mean that these microphones are compatible with your phone or your computer or any other device that can get this Rode Central app on it. So you have a microphone that isn't necessarily just limited to a camera, you can use it on other devices if you so please. Now, something I think is just absolutely awesome about the Wireless Pro is it's not just the transmitter and receivers that you get in this kit. You actually do get, well, a kit. You get everything you absolutely need in order to fully utilize the Wireless Pro. You have a case basically that store all your little extra pieces, and you have a charge case to store well your transmitters and receivers. And this is absolutely fantastic, as often it can be a bit annoying when you have to buy one thing and then you open it up, use it and realize, oh, now I have to go back to the store and buy additional pieces in order to make the most out of this. So you simply place your receiver and transmitters inside and it will charge them. I also noticed that when you pull the transmitters and receivers out of the case, it does instantly turn them on as well. Of course, it is a portable charger, so it does need to be charged itself. It does have a charging port at the back, a USB-C port, and if you are curious about how much charge is left in the charge case, you simply press this button here and it will light up and tell you so. Honestly, that's really cool, and not to keep slagging on the Rode 2, but it is a bit nice to have a sort of carry case and a charger to sort of keep everything safe, as opposed to me having to go out and buy additional bits of equipment and accessories. I get it all in this kit. But enough of my waffling, let's actually get into what's actually included as additional accessories. For starters, you have two of the most important things in this kit, which is the lavalier microphones, which are these sort of discrete little microphones that you can attach to the receivers themselves. So these microphones are basically omnidirectional microphones themselves, but they're also being redesigned from most lavalier microphones. This is a very much an all new design. It's a lot flatter, it's a lot easier to hide, and the clip as well has also been adjusted as such. So if you compare this clip and lavalier microphone to the Rode 2, or just any other lavalier microphone in general, you'll notice that the design on the Wireless Pro is actually incredibly flat, so it's very easy to actually hide it in clothing if you so please. It's also, well, pitch black, so it can sort of hide a bit on darker clothing. You also have some colored clips to attach to your lavalier microphones that I definitely won't lose. The clips also come with their own two magnet clips, which you attach to the transmitters, and you can of course attach this to any sort of magnetic surface that you want. Although the idea of these sort of magnetic clips here is that you can do this. And it's a very, very strong magnet, by the way. So there you have it. So now I've got the magnet attached to my shirt. I don't have it clipped to anything. So if you're in a situation where you need to clip this to your clothing, but you don't have anywhere you can put the clip on, or you're a bit worried about the clothing being a bit scrunched up or ruined by a clip, you do have this magnet right here. It's fantastic. Inside the kit, you also have two different types of cords that enable you to connect the transmitter or the receivers to various devices. You have one standard cord for your USB-C to USB-C ports, and you have one that connects your USB-C to your Lightning port on your phone. At the bottom of your kit, you will find you have a bunch of little fuzzy heads. You have some to attach to the lapel microphones themselves, and you have some that will attach to the receivers. So that's always nice. Simply place these on to help reduce the wind noise. Do make sure that the hair on them is fairly messed up, as the idea is that sort of helps break up the wind. So don't have them too combed when you have them attached to your device. And of course, if you are a camera user, you do also have a 35mm jack port cable to connect your receiver directly to your camera. So that's the Wireless Pro, and honestly, it was love at first sight. I've used the Wireless Go 2 for a while now, and it had a few little shortcomings, but those shortcomings were very much addressed with the Wireless Pro. It's a much more discreet design. You have that 32-bit float recording, which I really have to stress is an amazing thing to have, as often when you are recording content solo, it is very hard to sort of monitor the visuals as well as the audio at the same time to make sure it's not clipping. So now that you have that 32-bit float, I do have a bit of peace of mind that the audio isn't clipping as much as it might used to. So it's good to have that room. And it's honestly just nice to have everything in one single purchase. I don't have to go out to the shops and buy little extra things. I immediately get these two very hard cases to carry everything I need. So fins are a lot less likely to go missing, and that's good given how many small little pieces are included with the Wireless Pro. So honestly, if you are looking for a good lapel kit, the Wireless Pro is absolutely fantastic. It just has so many great features about it. It's just a very efficient sort of design. It's just an all-around sort of fantastic setup. So that's my opinions on it. But anyway, let me know what you think about the changes in the Wireless Pro and what features you're most excited about in this setup.